Hello guys, and welcome to a new Steel Division video today by me, Vulcan. Today I have for you a 2 versus 2 on Omaha, and today I'm playing once again with Valh. We're playing against Edox and Nishashi, who are using the 12th or 15th Scots and the 3rd Canadian Infantry respectively, and this is a 2 versus 2 ranked game. In this one I'm going to be using my coveted 716th Infantry Division alongside Valh's 352nd Infantry Division. So this was an interesting game because it comes back to one of my favourite decks, and I think that I've really got the hang of this division now. It's one that doesn't rely on smoke, which is perfect for me. Either way, let's just speed things up and we'll get the deployment underway. You can see that I am placing some AT guns down. One's going to be going to the centre, and if I just talk about strategy quickly, Val's just going to be like holding the right side, and then I'm going to be trying to push the left. Now the left really suits my division because I'm going to be using a lot of IG-18s, and from the edge of this sort of tree line here and the orchard, I can fire at 1,000 meters to basically these sort of trees here. And that makes the IG-18s extremely powerful for covering this entire area. Same with the packs that I'm using. So I've got some packs there as well, and they're going to be accompanying my IG-18s. Now it's very important that I show you guys where all my units are going at the start of this one, because it definitely shows like how I'm setting up my units in order to provide like crossfire and really try and deal with whatever the enemy can throw at us. So I have a unit of Ostrupen over here on the left, supported by an MG, I think that's 34, with the Command Infantry. I've got Command Infantry for the middle, Command Infantry for the right, and then Ostrupen supporting where I need them. Val's going to be going for his AT guns on the right side. He's got a couple of MGs there as well. I just speed it up a little bit more. We'll get the game underway, and I can show you those orders, because, yeah, it's definitely important for me to show you guys, because the way that I spread out my forces in this really led to, like, or really basically showed how strong this division can be. So if I just select all of my units, you can see I've got the squad of units moving up on the left side here. I've got the IG-18, I've got an MG, I've got the Command Infantry, and that's basically going to provide the crossfire to the right from the left extreme of the map. These chaps are all going to be moving up to this orchard, and you can see I'm unloading a couple early, a couple late, and the ones that are late are the IG-18s in the pack. The couple early are the Ostrupen, I believe, and actually no, it was the MG-42 or the MG-34 and the Command Infantry, plus another IG-18 that I wanted to move to the right side. Then I've got an Ostrupen moving over here to run up this tree line. And then I've got another MG-34 here that's going to cover off the Ostrupen. Then I've got IG-18 and a Command Infantry on the right to cover off the IG-18 here. So we're playing against the Canadians and the 15th Infantry. So what we're going to see at the start here is actually a ram come out, which is something that you kind of can predict when you see the Canadians, because they do have that tank available and they pretty much always use it. But then you've got a Churchill here, Churchill 5, and Churchill 5 supporting a Ram 2 is actually a big problem because they have 1,200 meter range. Not that it's being used in this case, but they also have 9 armor, and that's basically more than enough to stop my Pack 37s from doing too much damage. What's also going to come in here is Edox is going to be using a Spitfire early on to harass my MG-34. And I'm pretty much being forced to retreat. The Churchill 5 there picking off my MG-34. If we jump to the neutral perspective, there's a Ram 2 and 2 Churchill 5s pushing me on this left side. Now the reason they can do this is because rifle squads, you can see these rifle squads, are really cheap. So they're basically putting the majority of their focus onto infantry, or onto tanks, sorry, to make a push through this side. Then what they're doing is using rifles to hold the front line elsewhere. And over on this far right side you can see that Nishashi is holding with a variety of 6-pounders and rifles and so on. So relatively light defense because rifles aren't that strong. But over on this left side I'm really dealing with a lot of armor at the moment. So I'm hoping that my Pack 37 can do something. It actually fires at the Humber and kills it, but manages to get itself taken out by the Churchill, so that's not great. Osttroopen are trying to take out the Recce there, and do manage to, which is really great. Spitfire is going to come in and hit my IG-18. So what can I do to deal with this? I do have a Phase A Flak 88. So I've deployed this quite far back, and at the moment it's engaging the Spitfire. But basically the idea of this Flak 88 is to defend my side of the orchard, so that if the Churchill fires try and push past 50%, then I can hit them hard with the flak. It's the only thing really that I have with a high enough HE power or AP power right now to penetrate these tanks, so I really need to make sure that this works. Valh's also bringing up a Panzerschreck squad to try and get that into an ambushing position. So all my IG-18s here are on return fire. The one on the left is being hammered by a Spitfire, and that's because of the opponents spotting that with their rifle squads here. It was actually out in the open as it was attacked, moving to a different location. So either way, Churchill 5, that's a big issue. It's currently fighting Valh's Osttroopen over on this side, and that's absolutely fine. Valh's Panzerschreck is in an ambushing position with return fire. He's also bringing over another Panzerschreck there. And what I'm also going to be doing is bringing up my Pak 40, which is my 105-point AT gun. So since they're investing so much in Churchills, I'm going to be investing so much in AT. And so I've got the Flak and I've got the Pak 40. Pak 40 has 13 AP power, 1,200 meter range, so more than enough to match a Churchill 5. And same with the Flak 88, that has 15 AP power and 1,200 meter range. So I shouldn't have to necessarily deal about or worry about the Churchill 5 so much. I just need to make sure that these guys hit their targets. And in this case, I probably should have had a command unit with this Flak 41 to give it the extra star, because that makes a big difference. What's going to happen here, Pak 40 is going to engage the Churchill 5. You can see Churchill 5 only needs 2 shots to stun this. I'm hoping that this shot does enough damage to make it fall back, and it does. It has a transmission damage, so it's going to be really, really slow. It's already slow enough since it's a Churchill. And finally, I get the kill. So that's one Churchill 5 down. 2 more to go, plus the Ram 2. So my Flak 88 is getting on target now. That has broken the tracks of the Ram 2. And it's going to be trying to continue to hit that best it can. Over on the left side I see these rifles moving forwards, so I take these IG-18s off return fire and move them into the left side tree line, and I'm going to be hammering them really, really hard. The Humber is going to get taken out by the Pak 40 there. Ammo explosion for the Churchill, I believe, as Valh manages to sneak up the Panzerschreck and take them out. That was actually killing off my Flak 88 here. So it was a good job that Valh used his Panzerschreck to take that out. I've also got 2 more Pak 37s coming up, since there is such a emphasis on armor on this left side. Really trying to do my best here to counter that with as much AT as possible. And I have the IG-18 still alive to deal with infantry. Because at this point, basically, the IG-18s, I managed to keep them alive, and that's very important because as soon as I deal with the tanks, I can use them to deal with the infantry. Unfortunately, Valh's MU-109 here is going to be having a hard time against this Spitfire and gets shot down. Also, my Flak 88 got killed by the Churchill 5 at max range since it was pinned down. So I'm in a little bit of a predicament on this right side. The Pak 37 basically has to get a side shot or a really close-up shot in order to have a chance of penetrating the Churchill. I also have the Pak 40 over here, and this is in a bit of a dodgy position because it's now being fired upon by some rifles. And it's not really in line of sight to deal with these tanks. So I'm having to move that back, and it's going to take me ages to get this Pak 40 over to help with the Ram 2 and the Churchill 5 here. And as soon as this Pak 37 shows itself, these Spitfires are going to be flying around and trying to deal with that. Either way, I'm not going to let it slow me down. I'm bringing up loads of infantry to try and make a little push. In the centre, Valh's actually doing really well. Managed to push up with the Befehlspanzer 3. Since there is so many points on this left side and in the sky, you've got 3 Spitfires in the sky right now, plus all the Churchills and the Ram that we can see on the left. Valh knew that we could push elsewhere, so he's been attempting to in the centre. I moved over my SD KFZ to the centre to provide fire support with the MG there. Admittedly, I maybe should have kept it with the Flak 88 so I could have moved it when it got stunned, but didn't matter after all. Either way, Fusiliers are here providing the recon. Pack 37 is going to be having to go at the Churchill 5. I'm also moving this Pack 37 over to the right side to get into this tree line. So one of the Osttroopers is going to be drawing the fire of these rifles. That's going to allow me to continue up with the other 2 trucks. I'm literally just suiciding these guys forwards now to make some ground on the left side and give us back the initiative in this game. We're currently running 350 points in the lead with a +1 since I have just made back this ground here. And I've got a couple units on this left side as well. That's a Fusilier squad and an Osttrooper for the left side. This Pack 37 is still having to go at the ram here. Slowly moving the Pack 37 to the right side. IG-18s are getting on target onto those rifles, so that's really helpful. And another Churchill goes down in the centre as Valh's Befehl Panzer III does its job there. So that was really good. The IG-18's getting on target for more rifles. And this is literally going to be the story of the game. This IG-18 is going to be firing over to the left side. Pack 37 was taken out down here. This one though manages to get close enough, ambushes the Churchill 5. This Ram 2 is falling back, so it's just got all of the time in the world to take that out. And after all of those tank kills, that's 3 Churchill 5s down, soon to be a Ram 2 down, and now I've just got to push against all this infantry. But even Valh's Osttrooper having a relatively good time there against those rifles. And I'm just still moving forwards my own infantry here anyway. So I've got the Fusiliers, I've got the Osttrooper, I've got the IG-18s. And the IG-18s can help get rid of those rifles and then help get rid of the rifles on the left side. Although at the moment I'm mainly relying on the MG34 to pin those guys down. Pretty sure this IG-18 could fire over to the left if it wanted to. Maybe just out of range. Spitfires are still trying to do their job, but since we know there's so many Spitfires, we're not going to invest in air to counter it. We're just going to continue to push more things on the ground, and that's exactly what we decide to do. Because, yeah, why try and counter something where they're going to win when we can just like buy AA and like counter their airplanes and just continue on the ground? And that's exactly what I can do. We've moved into Phase B, so now I can bring up the Flak 88s, and the Flak 88s will not only neutralise the Spitfire threat and Air Force threat, but also just allow us to continue to roll forwards on the ground. So I've got the classic combinations here that I was talking about in my deck building or battle group building video for this division. And you can see I've got the Osttrooper, Fusiliers and Grenführer supported by either IG-18s or machine guns. And it's really, really effective. Now Fusiliers here, you can see they are spotting these recon, and they're going to get rid of those with the help of Valh's Flak 36s, and it was quite amazing how much fire these 2 recce units took. Certainly delayed me a little bit, but finally they go down. IG-18 continuing to pin down infantry further up, and Valh's trying to push on with his Panzer III. In the middle here, this half-track's actually used up the majority of its ammunition onto the MG, and the Pack 37 here is continuously moving up with Valh as well, and Valh's now reinforcing himself with more infantry. On the right side it's quite sparse, there's not too many units here defending, but you can just see my mass concentration on this left side, and they all have attack move orders and so on to continue moving forwards. So yeah, I was getting pretty micro heavy in this one since I had a lot of units still alive. At this point in the game we've killed like a lot of stuff, and I haven't actually lost too much because I managed to keep my IG-18s alive. I managed to you know, use a reasonable amount of AT guns to take out their stuff, and here comes the Flak 88 to reinforce the front. Also got 2 Panzer B2s, and these are basically more mobile and more destructive IG-18s. Yes, they cost a significant amount more, but they're armoured and they don't go down easy. So Spitfire is still trying to harass my Fusiliers here, but we've got these rifles pinned. MG34 able to get the line of sight there. And you can see I am able to get rid of these Spitfires slowly but surely with the Flak 88s. But the more if they fly over the middle, well, Valh's Flak 36s do the job. So there's the B2, that's firing all the way across towards these rifles. As I have it attack moving forwards, as soon as it gets in line of sight of an enemy, it will fire at them, so that's why it's managing to fire all the way through that gap. I didn't just micro that on purpose, that's just an attack move order going forwards. And again, if I show you guys, attack move orders are pretty much the story of this game, as I continue to move forwards the combined arms. And also the main idea here is to keep my units relatively spread, so I can't be countered by either off-map artillery, not that we're going to come up against any because we're against the 15th Infantry Scots and the 3rd Canadian Infantry, but also just in general bombers and so on. So they could very easily use some big bombers to crush some of my fire support, and here, this is a little bit of a mistake, but having two IG-18 so close is a little bit of an issue because that could have been bombed out along with the Grenadier. But just keeping them together there to provide that extra veterancy. Flak 88 is moving forwards, and I'm also bringing over this Flak 88 to counter the command Churchill here. So I'm going to be fast moving it onto this road and then unloading it. And I'm going to be attack moving it to the right side so it gets into line of sight of the Churchill. The Panzer B2 is also going to be firing at the Churchill there. You can see it can fire both of its guns at the same time. The IG-18's also having a go. So we're actually stunning that Churchill very quickly, and the Flak 88 is going to get the kill. So 15 AP versus 15 armor. Flak 88 managing to get that penetration is really nice. However, what you have to realise is that the Flak 88 was actually at roughly 19 AP power because of the range. So it has 1200 meter range, 15 AP power. Because it was 400 meters closer than its maximum range, it had an extra 4 AP power. That's why it got the penetration chance there. So here comes some more Spitfires. The first one's going to get stunned very quickly. The second one's going to get hit by Valh's Flak 36s. And my Flak 88s are also stunning that now as well. So we're going to force them out the sky. I have my half-track here, engaging the Vickers HMG. Infantry is continuing to move forwards on the left side. So no man left behind in this game as I continue to move forwards, except for maybe this Grenadier. But there's always one who has to get left behind, and in this case it's his turn. So there we go. Now since we do have pretty much like air domination here, we can see that I'm actually trying to afford myself an ME-109 now, just to try and pick up some of these Spitfire kills after we stun them and pin them down. So these B2s, these guys are really interesting because they're slowly rolling up through these fields, and they have the 1000 meter range 9HE power gun, which can really help pin down rifle squads and so on as I continue to move up. So that's what I'm doing here. The Panzer B2s slowly rolling through the field and supporting best they can with the Osttruppen and Fusiliers and so on. Again, Fusilier, Osttruppen combos, just running through, finding the opponents, allowing my fire supports to get on target. Flak 88s slowly moving up here. Grenadier providing the extra veterancy for both of those Flak 88s. Do have like my ME-109 engaging both of the Spitfires there, unfortunately being forced to fall back and got relatively damaged, so that sucked. But either way, another ME-109 coming in. Again, just to make sure that I have complete control of the skies. So the MG-34s are coming up as well. Those are also providing fire support onto the rifles. And whilst I continue to pin down these rifle squads, I am actually going to move forwards my Osttruppen and try and make them surrender, because that will be a much quicker way of getting rid of them. So again, continuing to move up. Anything that's come down the road so far is just being pinned down and destroyed by the Flak 88, and I also have the PaK 37s moving up and the IG-18s, and just anything that gets in my way is currently being destroyed very quickly. So another half track getting onto target there, and we see the Osttruppen finally getting rid of the rifle squad over here, and Typhoon coming in to slam my Fusiliers. Yes, they pin them down, but don't do any damage, and Flak 88 is going to be forcing them to fall back. I've got 3 Flak 88s at the moment. quite simply just to help with the air power. And you can see it stops them from harassing my units on the ground that are helping deal with the rifles and reinforcements coming down the road. So just got to continue forwards, continue with the recon, continue with the fire support vehicles. You can see I do have another half-track here. This could have gone and saved this Flak 88, but the main issue here is that because there's some big artillery coming in from these priests, if I move the half-track back to pick that up, then my own half-track probably would have got destroyed easier, but also just in general would have got stunned, and that would have been completely missing the point. So I can't really save that Flak 88 just yet. I need to just fall it back and make sure that it survives. So now I'm pushing on to the next hard point, just another town which is full of riflemen. Fusiliers are going to reveal them. There's another Vickers HMG on the right side, but IG-18s and Flak 88s getting into position to provide fire support. B2's going to be rolling over to the right side, trying to get that into line of sight of these units as well, because they really do help in that. And then the rest of my units on the left are continuing to move forwards and advance this front line. So I really enjoyed this game just because of its like sequential push, and it's literally just due to the combination of troops I have here. So a recon squad, an infantry squad, a decent fire support weapon, and command infantry. It's pretty much the special ingredients to a fine push. Spitfire's going to be coming in here, engaging my ME-109s. I'm forced to turn and fight them. I'm hoping that my Flak 88s can do enough here to get rid of these Spitfires, because they have just been dealing with the mosquitoes, so they're all reloading at the moment, which was a bit of an issue. One of them is also falling back. So what ends up happening is the Spitfires do end up getting on target and shooting down my ME-109, which really sucked. Either way, Valh does have his Focke-Wulf 190, and he's trying to get on target here, but what's happening is he's just going too fast, and then the opposing anti-air knocks him out of the sky there. So he's going to be forced to fall that back before it gets shot down. And one of my Flak 88s finally goes down to opposing artillery, since they continued to pin it down. If I go to the neutral perspective, they're basically guessing which sort of direction that's going, and also they can see where it fires from when it hits opposing aircraft. But on this left side, they're really struggling to hold the front line. Just my combination of fire support, infantry, and recon doing so much work right now, and I know that I'm pretty safe against the 15th Infantry for my B2s to just roll up and do as much damage as possible, and at the moment they're actually focusing a lot on artillery, which is okay if their front line wasn't collapsing so hard. Because these briefs really do take care of my Flak 88s, as we've just seen, but they really need to deal with this Pak 40, the B2, you know, all of the infantry that I'm moving forwards, and I'm so spread out that even though they are hitting me in all these different locations with the priests, it's just not concentrated enough to kill off units, and I'm still pushing on this left side, so that's basically how I'm able to keep this up at the moment. Typhoon's coming in to stop my Panzer V2 in its tracks. Spitfires are going to be flying around on the left side to try and pin down my MG34. We're well into phase C now, a couple minutes in really, and we're currently running a +3 because I've made so much ground. Bringing in an ME-109 to have a go at these Spitfires, but what's going to happen is the opposing AA is going to just continuously hit my ME-109s and manage to make the Spitfires fall back there, so just another engagement to get rid of the Spitfires out of the sky. Austrian squad is going to get destroyed by the Typhoon, but I managed to get some Italian infantry all the way up, and they're going for this building here. I'm also going to be bringing up some more reinforcements now. I've got the Verflammen supported by 2 Italian infantry and a command infantry. That's pretty much simply to counter their priests, because the priests are pretty much what is stopping me from advancing, but they're not going to win them the game. That's the main thing that I was going on about then. Was yes, okay, the priests are a great choice and they do stop my Flak 88s, and they do actually do quite a lot of damage and pin me down, but they're not going to win him the game. And I'm continuously able to bring up reinforcements to reinforce his front line. So here comes the command infantry. That's going to give the extra star to the Pack 40 and the B2 as I'm moving up. And then I have my Italian infantry moving up. And over on this left side, Osttruppen and Fusiliers have actually made it quite far. Probably could have run for these buildings, honestly. So this Pack 40 trying to get it into line of sight down the road to have a go at these Crusader AAs and the priests there, but I also have the Verflammen fast moving up the road as well to get into range to use its rockets. The trouble is with the Verflammen is it only has 1,300 meter range, so I've just got to get it as far up as I can before I'm engaging these priests. MG34 is getting slammed pretty hard there by the Crusader. I probably should have fallen that back, but that's okay. Still making loads of ground here, and you can see these rifles really in a bad spot as they get surrounded by Italian infantry. So here go the priests. They're going to be firing directly onto my Osttruppen and the Italian infantry there. Typhoon comes into direct fire my 88s, but if we go to the neutral perspective, my Verflammen is going to land some really nice shots on top of the infantry and Crusaders here, or on top of the priests and Crusaders. So actually one manages to get burnt up because they are open top, so that worked out nicely. And the others are just going to fire a little bit slower because they're panicked now. But either way, we do manage to reach the points limit, and after 24 minutes and 24 seconds, myself and Valh are victorious. Having that +3 counting for the majority of the game did mean that the game came to an end relatively quickly. If we go to the team perspective, you can see the kills and losses aren't actually great. In terms of my kills and losses, 1,157 to 895, you would have thought it was a lot higher. However, it wasn't the fact that I was necessarily killing a lot of his stuff. Yes, we did at the start. We killed the Churchills, we killed the Ram 2s and so on. But it mainly came down to the fact that I was able to push back his really cheap infantry. So he's bringing in lots of rifles, right? And I'm just slamming it with like IG-18s, the MG-34s, and the infantry, and I'm just continuing to push forwards. And he's not able to like reinforce it quick enough in order to stop me making ground, and that's just what continued to happen. I continued to roll forwards, and even though he had all of that artillery to try and slow me down, it's only going to slow me down, it's not going to stop me. And that's what ended up happening in this game. So if we do jump to the kills, Pack 40 managed to pick up one of the Churchill 5s and the Humber 3 at the start. This Pack 37 killed off the Churchill 5 and the Ram 2. The Ram 2 was stunned, so that's not like the most amazing kill there. Flak 88 came in, killed the Churchill 7. So that's pretty much most of the tank kills there. But then the majority of my kills are literally rifles, like I was saying. They're trying to defend the front line with rifles, which is fair enough. But at the end of the day, I was able to just roll on through with my Panzer V2s, the IG-18s, and that's really what was doing the damage. A lot of my units picking up their own kills there. In terms of losses, well, the priest did do a good job. Most of my losses came from the Flak 88s. The Flak 88s dying to the Churchill 5 there, this Flak 88 dying to the priest. Also lost an IG-18 there, lost a ME-109 to a Spitfire, that's quite a big kill. And again, priest killing off more IG-18s, but in general, didn't really matter. Priest's never going to kill a B2, and I had 2 of those left over, so yeah, relatively decent game there. And it literally, I've explained it already, just the continual push was what allowed me to win that game so convincingly without all of the kills in the world. And the majority of my opponent's kills came from the fact he was killing my fire support, which is definitely what you have to focus on doing in order to counter my deck. But either way, guys, hopefully you've enjoyed this one. I always love playing 716th, and I believe the next video will also be a 716th because myself and Valh have been playing a lot of ranks, so look forward to that. I think that might have even been a bit better than this one. But either way, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.